Let's go out with a bang. Let's have a laugh at your expense, shall we? Remember, they're just jokes. We're all going to die soon, and there's no secret.
Ricky also took a swipe at how Hollywood's changing. The top actors are jumping ship to platforms like Netflix and HBO, while big-budget blockbusters are being dominated by fantasy and superhero films. He pointed out how actors these days seem to spend more time in costume, playing heroes and wearing capes, than they do honing their craft. Instead of focusing on real, deep storytelling, it's all about flashy special effects and big spectacle. Speaking of science, Wikipedia defines it as the concerted human effort to understand the physical world. Science seeks the truth, and it doesn't play favorites. It's either true or it isn't. It doesn't have any moral compass. And that's something Hollywood could learn from. Ricky also gave a nod to Martin Scorsese, calling him the greatest living director. But he didn't let him off easy either. Ricky reminded everyone of Scorsese's critical remarks about modern blockbusters. The legendary director compared them to amusement parks rather than real cinema. And Ricky wasn't shy about agreeing, adding that these big-budget spectacles just don't have the same depth as genuine filmmaking, fueling the debate about what cinema really means today. Let's go out with a bang, shall we? Let's have a laugh at your expense. Remember, it's all in good fun. We're all going to die soon, and honestly, who really cares? Ricky Gervais has never been one to shy away from controversy. His unapologetic stance on woke culture has made him a fan favorite, even as it's earned him his fair share of criticism. His departure from the spotlight has sparked plenty of needless debates, but one thing's clear. Ricky isn't afraid to ruffle feathers. Beyond the glitz, glamour, and influence, Hollywood has turned into a playground for political posturing. The celebrity world has become the perfect stage for promoting personal beliefs, but let's be honest, half the time it feels more about showing off than actually making a difference. And that's
Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. So we were going to do an in memoriam this year, but when I saw the list of people that had died, it wasn't diverse enough. No. So, well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent. If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and so,
no problem calling out celebrity activists who barely understand the issues they claim to champion. He's made it clear he won't be joining the social justice club anytime soon. To Ricky, these celebrity causes often come off as disconnected and hypocritical, nothing more than performative acts for the cameras. And honestly, he's not afraid to expose the absurdity of it all. What makes Ricky stand out is his perfect blend of wit and biting commentary. He's become, in many ways, a one-man crusader against what he sees as the hollow gestures of Hollywood's elite.
Supernature dropped on Netflix last year. Big backlash, wasn't there? Big backlash. People going, you can't say that. You can. I did. Yeah. The inevitable backlash, which made it the most watched special of the year. So I've learnt my lesson.
Out the virtue signaling, and he's doing it in a way that's as sharp as it is hilarious. And let's face it, we can't help but watch point one of Ricky's most iconic moments in his battle against woke culture came during the Golden Globes, where he delivered a monologue in front of Hollywood's biggest names. It was a roast for the ages, hitting the industry hard for lecturing everyone on moral superiority while conveniently ignoring its own faults. His humor had the crowd laughing in some places and awkwardly quiet in others. It was
my jokes to be accurate and my targets to be fair. So I was engaging these people. I was saying, why is it transphobic? And they were saying, it's about a trans person. I said, well, that's ridiculous. That's like saying a joke about Bill Cosby is automatically racist. It depends on the joke. But I was talking to them, I'm willing to learn, and I found out my crime was that I dead named her. Now, I'd never heard that term, before a day after the Golden Globes, and that was saying her old name and even acknowledging that she used to be a man.
Holding up a mirror to Hollywood's hypocrisy in its purest form. Take, for example, his joke about the lack of diversity in the in memoriam segment. We were going to do one, but when I saw the list of people who had died, it wasn't diverse enough, so we decided against it. He didn't stop there. He called out Hollywood's biggest companies, Apple, Amazon, Disney, for claiming to be woke while making millions from controversial sources. He even added, if ISIS started a streaming service, you'd all call your agents. Then, when addressing the inevitable political speeches that come with awards, Ricky didn't mince words. If you win tonight, don't use it as a platform to lecture the public about anything. You don't know anything about the real world.
One ever saying anything that you don't agree with or like. I want people to stop saying that joke's offensive.
Yeah.
I want them to start saying I found it offensive. Because that's all it is. You're just telling me how you feel about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing intrinsically...
Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. Outside of his Golden Globes monologue, Ricky has continued to slam woke culture, using interviews and stand-up specials to call out its most extreme strands. He's not afraid to question the rigidity of these ideologies, especially when it comes to stifling free speech and critical thinking. Ricky has pointed out that woke culture has given rise to quick offense-taking and slow reasoning, something he sees as a dangerous trend against free speech. He faced some serious backlash with his Netflix special Supernature, but instead of apologizing, Ricky embraced it. He took the criticism in stride, and his unapologetic approach made it the most-watched special of the year. A key issue where Ricky has drawn controversy is his stance on gender identity, particularly around the subject of dead naming. His comments angered many, but Ricky stood firm, insisting he wasn't trying to harm anyone. For him,
Keep thinking I'm a pair of curtains. Well, pull yourself together then, right? I've done a woke version of that, brought it up to today's standards, right? So, bloke goes to the doctor. He goes, doctor, I keep thinking I'm a pair of curtains. And the doctor goes, well, you are then.
Special Supernature, but instead of apologizing, Ricky embraced it. He took the criticism in stride, and his unapologetic approach made it the most-watched special of the year. A key issue where Ricky has drawn controversy is his stance on gender identity, particularly around the subject of dead naming. His comments angered many, but Ricky stood firm, insisting he wasn't trying to harm anyone. For him, comedy is a tool for shining light on uncomfortable truths, not for conforming to societal pressures. As he puts it, I'm a considered comedian. I like my jokes to be accurate and my targets to be fair.
You know, it's... offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? You know, so you can't second guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious issues. And sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that. But, you know, you can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing. And freedom of speech is so important these days. If you can laugh in the